Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 6 o'clock on the dot, and welcome to the vlog. It's actually pretty nice outside tonight. I don't need a huge winter coat, but I have a t-shirt on underneath here. So I thought, well, I don't want to get cold, so I will put on a coat. This is going to be a short vlog tonight. I know I promised a longer vlog, but I got kind of carried away doing a bunch of stuff today around the house, and then I made some videos, and it is now like probably 5 after 6, and I need to start getting ready by like 6:30, 6:40. So I'm gonna vlog 20 to 30 minutes, and this will just have to be a shorter vlog tonight, and then hopefully tomorrow will be a longer. Is tomorrow the last day of November? I think tomorrow might be the last day of November. Yeah, my plan had been last night, I was going to go to bed early, and I was gonna get up today and I was gonna film videos. Remember, I said that was my plan. Plans are constantly changing around here. So last night on the way home, we had our marriage counseling session. It was a great session. And on the way home, Alex was like, "Are you hungry?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm starving." And he said, "Okay, what do you want?" And I said that I wanted Puccini's, which is like this pasta place that we go. And so there's one like close to us, and then there's one close to our counselor. And so when we got done with our therapy, he was like, "Well, do you want to just go to this one over here?" And I said, "Yeah, that's fine." So we went to that one, and our therapy session got done at like right at 7. And so we went over there, and they were supposed to close at 8, and so we were just gonna sit down and eat real quick. And when we walked in, the hostess came over and she was like, "We're actually closing at 7 tonight." And we're like, "Oh, okay." So Alex called the other one that's close to our house, and he was like, "What time are you guys closing?" And they said 8 o'clock, and so we put in a carry-out order. And so he got a large cheese pizza with marinara sauce. I got a huge salad, and I got 2 different pastas, because I wanted one to save for tonight, for when I get home from my meeting. And so then we came home, and we didn't have anything recorded to watch, so Alex was like, "Well, I can start rewatching Wednesday. Do you want to watch that?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we watched 2 episodes of Wednesday, and then he was like, "Well, I'm gonna like just binge watch as much of the show that I possibly can before I get tired." And I said, "Okay, I'm tired now. I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna go lay down for a little bit." So because I forgot Dragula came out on Mondays. I don't know how I forgot that. But I wanted to watch, I wanted to finish watching Welcome to Chippendales episode 1, and then I wanted to watch episode 2. I didn't know that episode 3 was out. I didn't find that out till later when I got up. So I laid down for a little bit, and then Alex was coming to bed. He watched like 3 more episodes of Wednesday. I really like it. It's very cute. I mean, it's what I expected it to be, you know, but I like it. It's good. I think that Jenna Ortega, who plays Wednesday, she's absolutely gorgeous. She's really good in the role. I mean, for me, it's like, well, Christina Ricci is in the show. She's not like Christina Ricci, but, and you know, there was the original before that, but whatever. It's still, it's delightful to watch. So the writing is just unbelievable. Like, just kind of like some of the jokes and stuff are so quick-witted and hilarious. So I mean, she's got a very sarcastic, dark sense of humor, you know. I mean, we know that about Wednesday Addams, but like, I don't want to give you examples because I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But anyway, since I just did a complete spoiler review of Manifest on my review channel, the clouds are like moving so fast tonight. I can see it. But so then I woke up, and when Alex was going to sleep, and I finished the first episode of Welcome to Chippendales, and then I watched the second episode, and then the third episode, which is called Velveeta, was out, so I watched the third episode, and that plane is so loud. So I watched the third episode, and then I watched an episode and a half of Wednesday. And I'm gonna try to finish Wednesday the next day or two, so that I can do a review of it. Also because it's like real binge worthy. It's really a good show. This Welcome to Chippendales is so interesting to me. Like, I didn't know anything about this story. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, did you guys ever see Casino? The movie Casino back in the day with Sharon Stone. Like, I love that movie. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Casino. I mean, it's the building of the Chippendales franchise, but it's, well, right now, just where I ended is where it starts getting kind of like a little crazy. So, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, so I watched those shows, and then I went to bed and tossed and turned forever, could not fall asleep. And so, finally came downstairs and grazed some snacks. Do you guys do that? I'm such a snack grazer late at night. And I just like sat there in the chair for a second, and I like looked up at the sky that was like starting to, like the sun was starting to rise. And finally I went upstairs and I went back to bed. Little Boo Radley was being so sweet last night. He was cuddling with me and stuff. But so finally I went back to sleep and was able to fall asleep. And right as I fell asleep, Alex's alarm went off. And he set it to like 4 or 5 alarms. And so it was like every time I fell asleep, his alarm went off. Anyway, got up today. Had some coffee. I'm still drinking it right here. And I don't think I've talked to anybody. I don't think I've talked to anybody on the phone. I called and made some appointments, scheduled some appointments that I had to make. And so I'm happy that I got that done. And got some of that stuff done around here. I got some other stuff done. I wanted to... What did she say? I wanted to pull out the rest of my Christmas stuff from the basement and put it out here. I didn't do that today. I wanted to pull out my Christmas bedding and make my bed all Christmassy. I didn't do that. So, those things will happen this week. I also want to get my Christmas tree up. I'm like listening to them across the street. And at the same time, the Amazon truck is coming down the street. They're so sweet. They're like kissing in the driveway. Oh, she got out of her car and then he moves her car in the driveway. Anyway, my neighbors next door, I saw her for a brief minute today when she was walking the dog. I was sitting. They were in Greece and Italy for the last 2 weeks. And they just got home, and she was kind of telling me a little bit about it. She's like, we'll have to like tell you all about it. It was really incredible. And she was like, we were all over the place, and they're a really neat couple, and that's like a trip they've always wanted to take. So I actually didn't even know until like the day that they were leaving, which was like 2 weeks ago. They texted, I think they texted, maybe, no, because she didn't know that they were gone. She just texted the two of us. Alex didn't even know, and she was like, hey, we're like leaving for 2 weeks, and we have a, and they had somebody that was like at their house and whatever. This girl like walked the dog at like 5 o'clock, and she was so friendly, this dog sitter, the house sitter that they had. She like walked their dog at like, it was like this, she was like 18, 20, something like this young girl. Remember when I would tell you about like the truck that sounded like the boat? Like that was her boat sounding truck. But anyway, she would walk, I mean, she walked their dog like all the time. Like literally like, I mean, obviously she was the dog sitter, but I mean, she was in it to win it. She walked the dog like 5 or 6 times a day. In the cold and stuff. Now today, it was supposedly like 60. I don't know how warm it was. I know it was nice. Is this the Amazon truck? But supposedly it was like 60 today. And tomorrow it's supposed to be like 33. It's supposed to like drop in temperature. Who's getting a package? I can see his flashing lights. So yeah, I'm gonna finish watching Wednesday. I wouldn't have really started it last night had Alex not said, like, let's sit down and watch this. So I'm gonna finish watching Wednesday, and then I'm gonna start watching 1899. And I was talking to Tanya about it last night. She's like, oh, I started that 1899 show. I can't, like, it's, if I mention a book to Tanya, she's already read it. If I mention a movie to her, she's already seen it. If I mention a TV show to her, she's already started watching it. I said to her, I go, oh, I've got the best TV show for you. And she goes, what is it? And I go, Welcome to Chippendale. She goes, oh, I'm already caught up on everything that they have out. I go, Tanya Jean, I go, just let me tell you about a show for once. So anyway, she was telling me, she said, I started watching that. Because what she'll do is, Tanya will, like, clean her kitchen or clean her house and do laundry and whatever. And, or, like, while she's at the kennel, if she's doing, like, paperwork and stuff, she'll, like, have, like, a TV show on in the background. And that's how she, like, gets through all these shows. That's how she gets through all of her reality TV shows. I mean, she, like, watches more reality TV than anybody I know. So anyway, she said, I started watching that 1899 show because I had mentioned it to her. And I said, oh, really? What'd you think? And she said, well, I only got through, like, one episode. And she was like, it's really, like, dark and sad and kind of, like, weird and eerie. And I said, exactly what we like. And she goes, I know. She goes, but I don't know if I'm going to keep on watching it or not. And then it was so funny because I was talking to her. I said, I don't know which one to watch next, 1899 or White Lotus. And she goes, oh, White Lotus, for sure. And I go, are you watching it? And she said, yeah. She said, this season is so good. And I go, this season compared to last season? And she said, yeah. And I said, but you didn't watch last season. It's going out of focus. I hate this camera when it does this. I said, come on, camera. They won't let me bring this thing over here. It's right there on my face, and it should, like, focus in. I said, but you didn't watch last season. And she goes, yes, I did. And I go, well, you were asking me all these questions about Jennifer Coolidge. She goes, but I watched last season. And I go, you did? She goes, yeah, I just stopped watching it because I didn't like the direction that it was going in. I go, well, how far did you get into it? And she was like, I didn't like that whole scene with blah, 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 whatever. And I go, well, that was, like, late in the season, Tanya. You must have watched, like, she goes, well, maybe I watched the whole season and I don't remember. That's the other thing, is she'll watch, like, a movie and not remember that she watched it. Or she'll, like, read a book and not remember that she read it, you know? She's bought more books, like, 2 and 3 times, and, like, she'll start reading a book and she'll get, like, 50 pages into it, and she'll say, like, she'll call me and she'll say, I was reading this book and it was so good, and then I realized I'd already read it before. So anyway, my friend Valerini called me while I was filming my drama video, so I've got to call Valerie back. I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to call her back before my meeting or not, because I've got to get ready and do all that stuff. But anyway, I did a load of wash today. I'm not going to get, like, anything exciting for the meeting tonight. I'm going to literally take a shower and then like, throw on a hat, and I'm wearing a black hoodie tonight and jeans, and that's as good as it gets for tonight. But it doesn't matter, it's just a meeting. And I'm wondering if there will be a lot of people here, because last week there were more people than we had seen recently, but the prior 2 weeks to that, there hadn't been that many people at my home group. So I'm hoping tonight there will be, you know, a few more people. Yep. I was kind of thinking to myself today, it's, like, strange that, like, I've made it through the end of November sitting on the front porch, which means, like, to sit out here, you know, and, like, talk to my neighbors and film vlogs and stuff like that, which means that I have December, January, February, and March, because March will have some spring days. Like, March will have some days where it starts getting a little bit warmer. Hopefully. We should. I mean, we can still have, like, heavy snow in March, but typically we have some pretty like nice days in March. And so that means we have December, January, and February, really only 3 months left, 90 days. And then March, April, May, and then the pool's open again, and then it's summer, and I can't wait for that. I remember when I was a little kid doing the art project. Do you guys remember where you would take like a white paper plate, and on one side you would like make a lamb out of like cotton balls, and then on the other side you would make a lion out of like yellow string or orange string? Do you remember this? And then you would like hang it on your desk or whatever, and then because of the saying, like, March comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb, or March comes in like a lamb, goes out like a lion. And so it's like a lamb means like it's like soft and easy and breezy, and like a lion is like stormy, and you know, so if it comes in like easy, it's supposed to go out real stormy and stuff like that. So I guess we'll find out and see. We're not there yet. We're not even to Christmas, so don't borrow time and don't borrow trouble, I guess. But don't borrow trouble, don't borrow time. My mom used to always say those things. Okay, so I have a new goal that I am setting for myself starting tomorrow, because I was just like, I was kind of like looking at all these books, all these Audible books that I bought, all these physical copy books, and I was like, obviously I'm not going to meet any kind of goal that I set for myself this year. That's okay. Next year I'm going to set a much less ambitious goal than I did for myself this year, because this year, I mean, I just completely fell out of this love of reading. Like, it's really made me very sad. And but my goal was like 105 books or something like that. So I think that next year I'm going to set my goal for like 40 or 50 books. But I was like, okay, I need to get back into this mode of doing this stuff. I need to, all this kind of stuff. So I think I'm just going to set my sights on listening to my Audible book like a half an hour a day. Like, one of the things that my therapist suggested to me, he was like, just quit listening to the book that you're listening to and listen to something that you know that you'll absolutely love, that you'll get through it. And then if you get through, like a book, maybe that'll inspire you to start listening to more, reading more, things like that. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. But here's the thing. The book that this is how it all started for me. So on Goodreads, they do like this contest every year, and it's like the best of Goodreads. And so the book that I'm reading, that I've been reading for 6 months now or whatever, the book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James, is nominated for like best thriller of the year or something. And so I was like, I'm gonna finish this book. Like, I've only got like 2 hours left or 3 hours left. I'm gonna finish this book. So I'm gonna start listening to a half an hour a day of this book. And then I think that once I finish that, I've got so many books I want to read. I want to read the next Misfortune book. I have another book that you remember that book about, it's really one of the only gay cozy mysteries I've come across, but it's about the guy on the East Coast that buys a bookstore. Like, the new one came out about that. It's like Pirates Cove, I think it's called. Josh Lanyon. I want to read that one. I bought that one on Audible. I have like 5 other Audible books I want to read. I have some Tanya Kappas books, which are those campground ones. Those are real short. Those are like 4 or 5 hours. So listening to 2 times speed is like 2.5 hours. I mean, I could finish those like in nobody's business time. So nobody's business time. So I think that I'm just going to try to listen to a half an hour a day. Hell, I watch all these TV shows. I mean, I'm binge watching 5, 6 TV shows a day. There's no reason why I can't listen to a half an hour of an Audible book, and I'm just gonna have to start doing it. And then I think if I do it and I just start it, I think I'll fall back in love with reading again. And the other thing is that we're starting the True Crime Book Club again back up in January. So I've got to get kind of inspired and motivated for that to start, because I'm definitely going to read that book. I mean, we're doing that. So, but I had this thought. I was like, why don't I just not even read anything until January and just put it off until January? And then I thought, well, maybe I've had all these plans about reading, September, October, November. I mean, none of them have happened, right? And so then I thought, well, why don't you just use December as like your month to slowly get back into it? If you only even finish one book that you've been reading for 6 months in December, like that's great, you know, but maybe it'll get you kind of back into the speed of things. Maybe it'll make you like slowly fall back in love again. I don't know, maybe I need to go back to Barnes & Noble and just walk around and see a book, you know, look through a bookstore and get inspired. And Caroline's gonna pick me up on Friday. Maybe that'll be one thing I do, is that, you know, like maybe we'll just go to the bookstore and I'll just like walk around. I mean, going to a bookstore always makes me feel better. I'm always just, I get excited by bookstores. Maybe go to the library. I don't know, you know. I know it's weird when I talk about it for people, because they'll say, then just do it. When I say, like, it's something that I miss so greatly, like, I really, really miss reading, and then people are like, well, then why aren't you doing it? Like, I mean, I have a stack of books in there. It's like, just pick one and read it, right? Or just put on your AirPods and walk down the street and listen to 15 minutes of a book. If you listen to, and this is my attitude, is, like, if you listen to 15 to 30 minutes a day, I mean, eventually you're going to finish the book, right? And then once you finish that book, then it'll be easier for you. And I know that that's true. And so it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like, just when I go to do something of entertainment value or relaxation value, you know, this is a big part of me with therapy, that there are a lot of parts of me that just don't feel back to who I was or where I was before, like, and I talk a lot about that with my therapist, you know, and that I kind of feel to some degree like stuck, and I know that, like, reading seems like something that is like, well, why is that an example of that? But it really is for me, because it's something that I did so avidly, that I loved, that I talked about all the time. I mean, people say on my blog all the time, like, I miss you talking about books, right? Like, I mean, I don't even remember the last time that I posted a booktube video, and I want to post over there, you know, and it's like, well, then why aren't you? Well, I don't know. I don't know why I'm not, you know? These are things that I struggle with, and, but it's not just things like that, you know? It's like, in all honesty, like on Sunday, after brunch, like, I knew that if we didn't go to Costco that day and get, like, these pots and, like, the wreath, like, I knew I almost probably wouldn't even decorate for Christmas this year. And I know that that sounds crazy, but, like, it was, for me, I kind of was like, well, first of all, I didn't know really how I would get there, you know, other than Caroline. And Caroline doesn't really have the room in her car to load up, like, big things like this. And so I didn't know, other than Alex, you know, and, you know, he gets home late, you know, 6:30, something like that. And then we go over to Costco at 7, whatever. I think last year he picked him up for me. But I didn't know, like, how I was going to get him. And then I thought, well, I don't want to get to this point where I'm just like, well, I'm not going to decorate the front porch for Christmas, because I loved it so much. I loved, you know, getting the Christmas stuff out, and it made me so happy and so excited last year. And that I was like, I'm going to do this, you know. And it was like last night when I was laying in bed, I was like, it's almost December 1st and I haven't put the Christmas bedding up here. The Christmas bedding that I didn't even want to take off of our bed last year because I loved it so much, right? And so, I think I think it's about pushing through some of that, you know, and he hasn't been walking with his wife lately. I wonder why. You know, when we talk about grieving and we talk about you know, I'm such a believer of, like, when people would say to me, like, just move on, you know, and I you know, then I talked to my friend about it who had lost her son, and she said, you know, this was years ago, and she said, no, we never move on, we move through it, and we carry the pain with us. And I think it's recognizing those moments and those periods of being stuck, and kind of readjusting to this, you know, new way. I don't have all the answers. I wish I did. I don't know. Life would be boring if you had all the answers, wouldn't it? Life would be awfully boring. Do you ever know people that, like, you act that, like, they act like they have all the answers, like they really, like, when you talk to them, like, they seem to have all the answers, and it's just, like, almost kind of, like, irritating and frustrating to talk to them. And I mean, it's not enjoyable, right? Because you can't have, like, a speculative conversation, you know? Like, Tanya and I always have speculative conversations about things. I'm the first one to admit I don't know, you know, everything there is to know about the world, but it's like, I feel like I've known a few people in my life that just, like, they know everything. Like, they're totally, like, can't teach them anything. Like, they know everything about everything, right? God, their lives must be boring. Anyway, that's my plan when it comes to reading. I'm going to start slowly again. I've got to, because I miss it so much and I love it. And I feel like it's like, I see it all around me, right? And I'm not even, like, I have all these credits on Audible. And I refuse to buy books because I'm like, I'm just going to let these credits sit here, so that when I start buying, or when I start reading again, and I get excited about it, I can buy all these books. But I have been screenshotting books like crazy that I wanted to read, because, like, books that I'll see come up on Instagram, because I follow quite a few, you know, bookstagrammers and stuff. So when I see books come up on Instagram that I want to read, like, I screenshot them and whatever, so. All right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here now so I can go get ready. Thank you for hanging out on the front porch with me today. This has been really nice and cathartic, and the breeze is nice out here, and I can actually feel it up here today. So yeah, and I'm excited to go to my meeting tonight, but when you're watching this, I'll have already gone to my meeting, so I'll be at home and toasty cozy in bed, and I love you guys, and I hope that you're having a magically amazing Tuesday. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And remember these 3 very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but don't tell anyone. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. And I had this thought last night. I was going to do a whole Peterisms video about it, and I might tomorrow. But I was like, what if every day, Peter, during the month of December, every day that you woke up, you just right away when you woke up texted 3 people randomly? I mean, it couldn't be the same people, 3 people every day. It would have to be somebody different every day, right? I mean, you could repeat maybe like every 2 weeks or something, but like different people, and just be like, hey, I was thinking of you today. Just wanted to say I was, you know, like, see if you're doing okay or whatever. And just pay it forward as far as thoughtfulness and love. I was like, that would be something that you could, that would be a thing that doesn't cost anything, that you could do, that would, you know, be a kind-hearted thing to do for other people out there. So anyway, just a thought. And anyway, also be kinder to one another, love one another a little bit more, and be kinder and love yourself a little bit more. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Oh, and for those that need to hear it, and those that want to hear it, and those that just happen to stick around, one more I love you. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Happy birthday, Lena.